My guest today is an actor, an author, an illustrator, and a comedian from New Zealand. It's Rhys Darby. Welcome to the Six Music Breakfast Show.
Thank you.
I don't know what it is that your energy is already bringing out of me, but you are like uplifting me, and I feel like I want to strike poses and make strange noises.
Well, it's working. This is my presence, my essence, and I hope it's positive.
It is. It's a lovely, illuminating experience. How are you?
I'm good, yeah.
You are in the middle of your UK comedy tour. If I'm going for the first time, and if I don't know your work, or I'm taking someone that doesn't, but I'm excited, what can I expect?
Well, yeah, I do get a lot of fans or newcomers that are coming to my shows that haven't seen stand-up before, and it is different what I do. So it's not your regular stand-up. For a start, I won't just be standing there. I will move around. So it's physical. I tell stories, I act out those stories, and I quite often play the characters in the stories, and also I do some sound effects and a lot of movement. So it's kind of like a one-man play. For those that aren't sure about stand-up or are worried that there could be some jokes or some political stuff that might be harsh or a bit you might not agree with, then I'm certainly the person for you, because it's sheer fantasy, and it's stories about me in odd situations and me dealing with life like I've just dropped on the planet. And ultimately, it's really silly.
Yes.
And just fun.
I do think that there is like a current kind of popular yearn for the silly, the slapstick, the physical, because I feel like clowning was like a massive thing. I live in Edinburgh, so I was sort of taking in the general environment of all the different types of shows that are available to us in such a concentrated way, and it seemed like the physical side of things, clowning and laughter without even using language sometimes, is becoming something that's a lot more mainstream.
Oh, that's great. I hope that it's never really gone away, but when times are harsh in the world, just sheer silliness makes us laugh and smile without having to think. And I've always loved clowning as well.
And using your sonic self, making strange noises. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that.
Capabilities, yeah. Stuff that I don't know where it came from, but as a kid I used to play with my toys a lot. I was a big player. And now I'm a major player. But back then, I would use my objects and little action figures and cars and things, and I'd do all the noises, helicopters, all the different vehicles. And I don't know, I just thought that was normal. I played a lot on my own. And so it's just I'm the result of a guy who spent too much time on his own. And didn't have a lot of friends.
It's working out all right.
Yeah. And I still have the residue of those times. I'm just still a kid. And then they put a microphone in front of me and I do the same noises, and they are amplified and they sound really good.
And you've made different types of work in terms of you have done radio. A lot of stuff that people love you for originated in radio. How can you describe the difference between being filmed and being recorded?
There's something about the audio recording system, especially when you've got these cans on, that gets you inside your head a lot more. And you can almost hear your imagination, is what I like to say. And so that is more powerful. When you've got cameras and stuff and you don't have the headphones on, you're more in touch with a reality, which is great, but you're really acting then. And I think the power of radio is that we instantly go into a imaginary world as well, and we can, especially with sound effects and with stories, the old Goons, the shows like that. I grew up watching all these kind of things, Spike Milligan, and that was really inspirational for me to not just to do that myself, but also then to dive into writing and writing children's books and things like that. And I think it's still, when everything else is done and dusted, I think radio will still survive.
I think so. And that's one of the reasons why I just love it. And I'm returning to it always, especially in times of just I'm writing and being in my own head in a different way in terms of a communicator is really exciting. But there is something just like magic about the connection of music and sound and a live broadcast especially, I think.
It's instant.
Yeah.
And I think we can all feel it and we can vibe it together.
Yeah.
And so when you're being involved in visual stuff, television, whatever, it's not as instant. Mm-hmm. And because after all, we're all humans that live and work in a certain frequency, and that's sort of I was a radio operator in the New Zealand Army. Yeah, I was a communications electronics operator in the Signals Corps. And so we learned all about frequencies and radio waves, and we did a lot of... it's gone right out my window now, but back in the day when I was like 17, 18,
That's
I was learning this stuff.
fascinating.
Yeah, so I was like... I actually learned to Morse code as well. So I was doing... that kind of thing. I won't tell you what I said there. But... it's just, I think we're all in tune with a frequency thing, and the whole planet is. And so that's why, you know, this particular medium is important to us.
Talking about the imagination element of your work, of the many shows that you've voiced, I think around 30 shows that I have in my notes in terms of animation you've lent your voice to, including Moomin Valley.
Yes.
Oh,
I love it.
tell me more. I'm a massive fan of Moomin Valley, of the whole Moomin world. Yeah.
So I was the fisherman in that.
Yes.
And it was... I mean, it was an honour because I know how famous it is and how important it is in Europe and in the UK. And so, and you know what? I still haven't really seen it because I live in Los Angeles. We never got it over there. I think they sent me some DVDs, but they're on a different system.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I've only seen clips online and stuff.
I feel like the metaphors in the Moomin Valley world are pretty like poignant, and I kind of, again, a weird thing that I return to. I don't know if it's nostalgic or whatever, but like the way that the Moomins live seasonally, and they get grumpy as well as happy, and are very connected to nature. Yeah, what a lovely thing to do.
What a magical thing to be part of. Yeah.
I'm going to play a track now. I'll be back with my guest Rhys Darby after Queens of the Stone Age. That was Queens of the Stone Age with Negative Space. I'm here with my guest, comedian, author, actor, polymath, spark, Rhys Darby. There's so much that I could talk to you about. Children's books. I mean, you just bopped out a few of them as well.
That's
what?
right.
You've done so much.
I wanted to create books that were great for kids who struggle to read. As a child, that was me. So a reluctant reader. You see a page, it's just full of words. You think, oh, I'd rather go and play football. And so I created a book that was more like a kid's journal. I've always been into Indiana Jones and adventure, and I thought, you know, his journal, that he's usually either his or his dad's one, that's got these notes in it, maps and things. Imagine finding one of those and sort of piecing together the adventure yourself. So I did like a 12-year-old boy's version of that, and I did all the illustrations myself, and I did so there's little maps and drawings and puzzles in there, and then there's also Morse code. He talks through Morse code. So I put together this thing, and it worked. And then so I made 3 of them, and I've had so many kids and parents of kids who don't read very well sort of come to me and say, oh my God, he or she's finally got a book. It's usually boys, to be honest with you. Girls seem to be better at reading, but yeah. It was really great, and I did it because my son was also at the time a reluctant reader, and so I would be in bed with him, going through it with him, and it was a great moment in my life to be able to do that.
Brilliant. Okay, so can we have a little excerpt of what we might see on stage if we decide to buy a ticket?
Okay.
Maybe a sound, like it could be as abstract as you need it to be.
Okay, I mean we're on radio, so I'll utilise a bit of sound effects. This might or might not be a scene in the show, but it's sort of a typical type of thing I might do. So I'll enter a room. Hello? Hello? Oh, there's a phone there. This is a weird room. Hello? I'm sorry, I can't understand what you're saying there. Outside? Oh, I'll open the window. What's that? It's a helicopter! Well, that was weird.
I feel like that was a very special moment. I was doing my absolute best not to laugh during because I was like, this is audio gold. But I think that brings us to a brilliant close. Rhys, Darby, thank you so much for joining us.
No
Wonderful.
worries.
Loads of people are going to be needing more.
Yeah, and you'll be wondering what was happening there, and so you'll have to come to the show to find out.
I mean, to be fair, it sounds like some moments on Radio 4 at one of our family member stations.
It's something I saw this morning. I just copied.
It can happen. I love it. Sunday the 5th of November in Bristol, Tuesday the 7th of November at the Pavilion Theatre in Glasgow, Wednesday the 8th at the Albert Hall. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.